Hello everyone, this is V and welcome to another spotlight video, this time for Harun al-Rashid of Arabia, or al-Rashid, I'm not entirely sure. Arabia is a pretty strong
Blessings of
civilization.
God be upon you, O great Caliph Harun al-Rashid,
It's one of
of the
only
Arabian
two
people.
civs that
The
have a
Muslim
desert
empire of the
start bias,
Caliphs was
the other
born in the
being
turbulent
Morocco.
years after the death of the Prophet Muhammad
So
in 32 AD,
that
as he
alone
always sought to
means
extend the
that
rule of
you
God to
usually
all other
have
people
a
of the
very
earth.
strong
The
desert
Caliph
starting spot, although this time it does not appear to be so. Although still, this is a pretty good spot to start on, I think. We'll go here and then we will have a 3, 1, 2, 5 seafood resources. And we have a few desert tiles so we can actually make Petra should that be something that comes up. Yeah, having a desert start bias means that you have somewhat elevated chances of finding oil and a few other resources that are just a lot more common on desert tiles. So that's pretty good, and this is completely busted. Look at this city. This is just insane. Yeah, okay, it's a desert tile, but just look at how powerful that is. So we'll go pottery and make a scout. So you're gonna get powerful starts a lot of the time, and the additional access to oil is always very important. Oil, the most important resource in the game. So what does Arabia have to offer? As you can see, caravans have 50% extended range. That's okay. It's not that big a deal, but it definitely helps early on if you don't have an ocean start, which we do now, but regularly you will be landlocked because of the desert start bias, and then you have to use caravans, and having them be able to reach another civ early on instead of a nearby city-state is a very big deal for the purpose of science, and it's often not the full 50% that's needed, but one or two tiles sometimes can be enough to ensure that you get a good science trade route. So that's pretty important, but well, it's not game breaking. And then your trade routes spread religion twice as effectively. This is something that doesn't often make a big difference because well, for internal trade routes, it can help make a new city, put a trade route in it, and then it will probably get the religion faster, but that shouldn't be a problem anyway. It does help a bit. Problem is that the spread through trade routes just isn't strong enough. And the other part is oil resources are doubled. And as you know, oil, the most important resource in the game, bar none. So you can imagine that that can be powerful. It means that with only one tile of oil in your entire empire, you can have a completely functional fleet, especially if you go autocracy and double up again. Then one spot of 7 will yield 28 oil, enough to create a fleet of battleships and 2 cities worth of airplanes from one spot. So that it has the potential to be completely absurd. Here I think I will go for the worker first. So yeah, I want to make farms here. Not sure yet how we're going to kill off the barb, but we'll look into that soon. Yeah, so these things, they add up to a reasonable advantage. Then let's look at what specials we get. And the first is the Camel Archer. It's a replacement of the Knight. It has some things in common with the Keshik, which is the Mongolian unit. If you look at this, it has, well, it's kind of the same stats. 21 ranged combat, range 2, movement 4, and if we look at the Keshik, of course the Keshik is gonna be a little bit stronger. How do you spell that? Ah, there we have it, Keshik. Yeah, it has only 16 ranged combat strength, but look at these extra abilities. So yeah, it's going to be a little bit stronger, but the Camel Archer is still plenty powerful, being a mobile ranged unit that can move after attacking makes it really crazy. You can't prep them experience wise, but that's just a small price that you have to pay. So it's not really all that big a deal. Let's see if we can buy a tile. Yes, we can. Ah, shouldn't have done that. I didn't need it. But yeah, you can definitely use these Camel Archers at some point to rapidly conquer a few civs if that should arise. The great thing about Arabia is that they have this great unit, but that's not the only thing they rely on. It's just one of many things they have going, and it's definitely not their single focus. So what else do we want here? We would want Petra, so let's see how to just get that. I think we have to go deeper into some of these other things first. Because unlike Mongolia, Arabia actually has a really impressive third ability. Other than these small things, we also have the following. We have a market upgrade, the Bazaar, and the Bazaar does a lot of things. Not only does it give 1 extra gold over a regular market, but it increases the yield of oil wells by 2 gold, which is not that big a deal, but it helps. It generates extra gold from trade routes as a normal market does, but most importantly, it doubles all your luxuries. So that's like having the entire ability of Holland not just doubled, but more than doubled, because you can trade them away without loss of happiness. You can trade them away for gold, and it's all contained within an improved version of a building you normally already build anyway. So that is just something really, really great. And that also means that Arabia is a pretty good civ, albeit not one of my favorites personally, though I can't quite say why that is. I have played it a few times and I think I focus too much on the religion. It's definitely powerful though, and I would rate it 7 out of 10. And I think that might even be underrating it. So yeah, definitely a very strong civilization, and if you do intend to train your late game warfare, then Arabia is a very good pick because it is likely to have access to oil, and when it does have access to oil, it is well, it can make all these oil units twice as often, meaning that you will have a lot more time to work with them. Very well, that will be all for this video. I think I will actually complete this game at some point because look at this city. Thanks for being here and I hope it was useful to you.